The first step is to gather all the supplies. All the supplies will be listed down below in the description underneath this video. I got this baby blocks from Hobby Lobby. It is so cute. I knew as soon as I saw it, I would have to recreate a centerpiece that I had in mind, and it's pre-made. So the thing we're going to do is we're going to use some pink and white paint. I will say this paint is not going to be ideal at first, and you'll see throughout the video I end up using a different paint, but I'll explain why as we go along. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to paint the entire box white. I will suggest that this is something I thought of after I finished this project. If you want to take white spray paint and spray it instead, that will save you so much time. I will share here that I ended up not liking the way this came out because I had to put multiple coats of paint on here in order for the wood not to show, in order to get the ideal color that I was looking for. So I will suggest to possibly spray paint maybe 2 to 3 coats of white and then go in with your pink to outline the letters and the border. This is what the baby block looks like with 1 coat of paint. It wasn't ideal. Like I said, feel free to use spray paint and you will probably get the ideal coat. But for now, I don't want you to forget to open that box and paint the top so it matches the outside as well. You don't have to paint the inside, just the top part. The next thing we're going to do, especially if you are following this tutorial, is you are going to paint a second coat. So you're going to go back, start from where you first started, and then work your way around the entire baby block to paint it another coat of white paint all over. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to start painting the trim and the letters to match the overall color and theme for your baby shower. Now in this example, I'm going to use pink because pink is usually used for girls. So I'm going to paint over. As you notice, this paint is really light. So again, you have to go over it multiple times in order to get it to the point where you don't see streaks or the wood coming out from the color. So this part of the video is where I share why I wasn't really content with the paint, because it was a water-based paint. You want to make sure if you're going to go down the paint route to use a matte finish. This will create a more solid color when it comes down to the streaks, because I did at least 3 to 4 coats and you can still see the streaks through the wood. So make sure you're using a matte paint when it comes down to wood, and if you know of any paint that's even better than that, feel free to leave it down in the comment section because we all need to help each other. What a difference. Can you see the difference between what was shared in the beginning of the video when I was using the water-based acrylic paint versus the matte finish? It is such a difference. You can see it on camera and in person it looks even better. Plus the matte paint dries a lot faster, so you're able to go over your coat pretty well. So make sure you're utilizing the matte finish when it comes down to your baby blocks. And again, don't forget to go inside where that top portion is, and that way you're able to giving it a good coat, so that way when people see it, it matches the outside as well. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the letters in pink with a matte finish. Now this pink was a lot brighter than what I wanted, but I didn't mind it because I'm all for the bright, especially around the springtime. So I'm actually glad I chose this because it actually was really pretty on camera and in person. So you're just gonna go over the trim and then along with the letters around the entire blocks. And again, don't forget the inside. That is so important because people will see that portion after we're putting in the flowers. One thing I wanted to mention is that I make mistakes all of the time when it comes to DIY projects. And so the secret sauce that if you do get a little paint on the white, it will go away if you have the matte acrylic paint that's white. So even if you spray paint it from the beginning and you put 2 to 3 coats, still have a matte acrylic paint on hand when it comes to the white, so that way if you do mess up like how I do, you can go over it really quickly with the white acrylic paint and it will not show. It will cover up pretty well because again, the paint dries pretty quickly as you're painting. The next thing I realized was that you probably want to paint the border of that box the same color as the trim. So I'm going over with the second choice of pink, and this is a great view because you can see how bright the pink is without the added extra colors from the last pink. So make sure to add that trim, but again, you don't have to go inside because nobody's going to see that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get all of our greenery and flowers. I ended up buying 2 of these, but I barely needed 1 because the flowers were really good. I use hydrangeas. Hydrangeas is like the go-to flower for baby showers, and these, I don't know, lilies. I don't even know what they are, but they were beautiful. Got them all from Hobby Lobby. And then you're going to put your foam into the box. If you don't have the right size, just use 2, just like how I did. And now we're going to use our clippers to clip down the flowers so they're able to be placed inside the baby block. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to start from the corners. I always start from the corners and then work my way in, but these flowers are pretty full, so starting off in the corners pretty much fills up the blocks except for that front piece, and just stick them right in. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to take these beautiful stem flowers. I placed mine in the back. I put 1 on each corner and then 1 in the middle. It creates dimension. It's a trick I've learned from an old mentor who used to be a florist. She used to put them all over. So it's up to you, but I do suggest using different types of flowers. The next thing is we are adding greenery to the flowers, again, to add dimension and character and to keep it interesting to the eye. So when your guests are looking at it, they're looking at something that's beautiful. I really hope you like this baby shower centerpiece for your next baby shower. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in the next one.